97.6 ESPN Nation, presented by Dr. Pepper. It's not college football season without the delicious taste of an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. College football, it's a pepper thing. Two wonderful ladies from Illinois, St. Louis, Illinois. Michelle Smallman, Courtney Cronin, in for Canty today. Good morning, everybody.
That's not a diss. I am from Illinois.
Good morning.
I love the land of Lincoln.
I didn't say you. It was a
What is your actual hometown? Are you
Belleville,
from?
Illinois.
Okay.
You can see the arch from where I live. It's a stone's throw from downtown St. Louis, but it is on the Illinois side of the river. And no, you cannot trip me up with this. I've been steadfast and telling you the truth, and I am very proud of where I'm from. I can be from Southern Illinois and also be part of the Metro East of St. Louis and love St. Louis, too.
By the way, you're
Do not
a fraud.
identify Missouri, but we love Illinois. We love St. Louis.
By the way, you're a fraud.
Okay, Nuno.
Wow, right off the bat, calling you.
See, I thought we were going to open the show being like, wow, we're so excited to have Courtney Cronin here. Not only is she going to talk to us about the magical Bear season, even though it was disappointing in the way it ended versus the Rams, but she's an Indiana Hoosier. She's riding high on the first national championship in football for her school. And this is how you want to open the show? We've got a lot to get to with our friend here. And instead, you want to talk about where I'm from, Evan?
Me? I didn't play that audio. How do I get blamed for this?
Yeah, Evan. It's all
Yeah,
your fault.
bold choice for the personality rejoin there to start the show.
Wow, look at Courtney, inside radio all of a sudden. Wow. All right, yes, we do have a lot to get to today, including some interesting words. Some beef in the NFL is back, by the way. Beef is back.
I'm so happy.
We will get to that in a little bit. There's some college football news. NBA, Nuno's Knicks are a mess right now, which is great for us. But let's start with the coaching news. Coaching carousel, one guy off of the list, but not because he became a head coach. Former Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel has taken a job as the offensive coordinator of the LA Chargers. He was rumored and interviewing for a lot of head coaching jobs. He decides to go with the LA Chargers. Now, we don't know, maybe Courtney does, Smalls, you and I don't know 100%, whether or not he was going to actually get a head coaching job. We learned yesterday by way of NFL media that he was taking his name out of the Browns opportunity. Now, again, if you're not getting a job, it's easy to say, I'm not interested in the job. Maybe he would have, maybe he wouldn't have. But I got to tell you something. Blown away, impressed with the maturity from Mike McDaniel and his camp here. And I'm going to tell you why. I think that this man is a brilliant play designer. I don't think he is a brilliant play caller. And I think that the sequencing of plays, the way in which he operates a football team, that level of nasty and toughness that at times is needed, even if you are a player's coach, clearly was not there. And Smalls Court, I think what he did was say, you know what? Maybe there are going to be better jobs next year, but for this year, I want to learn. And that, Jim Harbaugh, that's the guy I want to learn from.
Also, this is another check in the Justin Herbert is worth it column. Jim Harbaugh wanted to be his head coach when he left Michigan. Greeny told us, I was talking to Harbaugh at a funeral, he loves Justin Herbert.
Don't go too fast on that. Please restate that again. It could never be restated enough where this conversation happened. Please go ahead.
So Mike Greenberg, Greeny, joined us, and this was after Harbaugh won a national championship at Michigan, and his future in football was up in the air. We didn't know what he was going to do next, and there was a lot of things connecting him to the Chargers job, and Greeny came on Unsportsmanlike and told us very casually, yes, I ran into Jim Harbaugh at a funeral, and we were chatting, and he was gushing over how much he loves Justin Herbert. So I would not be surprised if that's where he ultimately lands, because at this funeral, the conversation that I had with him, it was very apparent that he was obsessed with Justin Herbert. Sure enough, he goes there, and once again, they fall short in the playoffs. And we're talking about Justin Herbert not having an excuse at head coach anymore. Why hasn't he taken that next step? Well, now you have one of the most innovative and brilliant offensive minds in the NFL, and Mike McDaniel saying, hey, I'm not only going to go there and learn from Jim Harbaugh, but I think that there's a quarterback that has so much talent that I can do something special with him, and maybe we can get to a certain level, and then I can explore being a head coach again. But to me, this is not only validation for Justin Herbert, but it's also now more pressure, because not only do you have a head coach, but you know you're going to have an offensive coordinator that's going to be able to put you in advantageous situations. So you better be able to take that next step this year.
I think that as far as like why he withdrew his name from Cleveland, because remember he interviewed there on the 12th, or interviewed with them on the 12th, hadn't had that in-person interview yet, and might have still been in consideration for the Ravens job, for the Raiders job, like two jobs that he had been linked to. I don't know that Mike McDaniel is the best in front of the whole room, but I do think he is the best candidate to be in front of the offense as a whole. Because remember, those first 2 seasons that he had in Miami, he had two of the most explosive offenses in back-to-back years, with Tua leading the league in passing. And obviously things deteriorated once health deteriorated for Tua, for the offensive line, for the offense in general, and during the end of his time in Miami. But I like this because, like both of you are pointing out, when you have a quarterback who has a limitless skill set like Justin Herbert, the options are endless for what this offense can become. Tua had, certain things, a ceiling, if you want to call it that, on certain parts of his game, and you don't have that with Justin Herbert. You have somebody who's going to be able to cut the strings from, the ties that Greg Roman had on him. And I think that we did see a lot of improvement from him the last 2 years, but it still felt like there were things that were holding him back beyond the offensive line injuries, which he was able to overcome until he wasn't in that playoff game. But having somebody who's innovative, having somebody who doesn't feel like they have to be in charge of more than they can probably handle and can simply focus on build the most explosive offense that you can in a division that is winnable now because the Chiefs and the uncertainty about when Mahomes is coming back. Obviously, you have the Denver Broncos in your division too. You have the pieces now to actually go out and win this thing, the AFC West next year, because you've got the right direction that you're going in with your offense.
Yeah, and you said something that really stands out to me, Court, and that is maybe he's not good in front of the whole room and just some of the room. Well, guess what? If we were to do a top 5 power rankings of the coaches that we assume amongst the 53 are best in front of everyone, Jim Harbaugh is on that list, right? You would just assume that he is really good in front of everyone. So again, Mike McDaniel being mature enough to realize I need more coaching. Like, I could do this again. I could try every which way to get to Cleveland, and I could get fired in a year because someone this hiring cycle is guaranteed almost to get fired next year. It happens every year where we have a one-and-done coach. You sign up for one of the jobs that he maybe has interviewed for, whether it's Arizona or Cleveland, let's say, you could get fired 1 year from now. In this scenario, you are going to become a better head coach by not being a head coach. And I'm blown away impressed with that by Mike McDaniel, having that sense and that smarts and the maturity to get better. Now,
he does seem like someone that has a tremendous amount of self-awareness.
Yeah, I think he's been through a lot in his life, and I think he understands. He's reflective of and
he seems like he knows what's best for him in this moment.
And I
give him credit for removing ego from the equation.
100%.
Because a lot of people would say, "Oh, Miami fired me. I'm a good head coach. I'm going to take one of these other jobs and I'll show them." But he's surveying the landscape and saying, to your point, actually, that might not be a place for me to succeed. If I really do want to be great at this, maybe I need to take a step back before I take another step forward.
And if he's saying to himself, I want to guarantee myself to be a head coach in 27, 28, you're better off not being a head coach now than being a head coach now. I think you have a better chance 2 years from now of being a head coach in the NFL by not being one now, which leads us right into, go ahead.
One more thing.
Yeah.
He also is acutely aware of what happens to a head coach that does not have a franchise quarterback.
That's right.
And a lot of
places he'd be going to.
Exactly. A lot of these situations that were on the board for him, he's like, this is just going to be deja vu of what I experienced in Miami.
Right. And he probably was not going to get the Ravens job. He doesn't present Ravens. And I'm not saying that as an insult. I think the Ravens have a type, and Mike McDaniel doesn't feel like that type. Other teams have a type, which Mike McDaniel feels like that type, to his credit. Now, let's get to the part that Nuno, our producer, Nuno Miguel Barrera Teixeira, really loves getting to. And that is, who could get fired a year from now as to what he sees? Like, what is... See, we took...
The future firing.
Right. The three of us took the healthy approach of this is professional and personal development. Kudos to him for seeing that path. Nuno sees the schemy path of, he's waiting now because maybe he sees that in a year this job could open and we could do a conversation about a preemptive firing strike 1 year from now. Nuno, over to you.
Yeah, so on January 13th, I went back and pulled my own receipts. I floated out the, depending on the job, is it just better to sometimes to wait till next year? Let's be honest. Cleveland, love you guys, but, is that a great job? The Cardinals, is that a good job? Whereas I look to next year and say, maybe the Commanders' job comes open, right? We don't know what happens with the Bucs' job.
See, look what he's doing.
There's the potential.
Courtney's laughing at you. Go ahead, Courtney. Laugh at him. Go ahead.
I mean, he's preemptively,
he's next year.
Yeah, he's thinking, Todd Bowles was barely keeping his job this year. He's definitely gone next year. I mean, you're not wrong, Nuno, because I think there will be better options for him, even though there's